Hello?
Hello, yes.
Who's this? Okay, good.
Check two, 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 two.
Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great, thanks.
It is 4 p.m. Tuesday, May 25th. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Economic Development Corporation. Blanca, if you can establish quorum, I appreciate it.
Yes. Hiren Govin, President.
Present.
Roland Gomez, Vice President.
Present.
Daniel Dan Diaz, Secretary. Aaron Ronnie Rivera, Treasurer.
Present.
Veronica Gonzalez, Director. Sabrina Walker Hernandez, Director. Raul Resendez, Director.
Present.
And we have quorum.
Thank you. And if you can certify public notice.
Yes. The notice was posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act on May 21st at 12:04 p.m.
Thank you. Moving on to public comments, did we have anybody who registered to speak?
We did not receive any requests for public comments.
Does anybody in the crowd, would they like to speak in public comments? No. All right, I will close public comments. Moving on to director's report.
Hi, yes. In your report, we included an update for new businesses in Edinburg. We are working very closely with planning and zoning and establishing communication when a new business is opening up in the city. So for now, we started working with Gringo Loco and Just a Closet, so we just wanted to share that with the board as well. We have a couple of projects ongoing as well. Some prospects, we're still talking to about 12 prospects with expansions, relocations, and new businesses. So this is ongoing, touching base and see if they want to move to Edinburg or if they want to relocate or if it's a new business completely. An update on the retail development. This is regarding the Buxton retail outreach that we've been doing. We do have about 3 leads, and that's a full-service restaurant, other spectator sports, theaters, and amusement games and dining. So that's exciting for staff and for the board. An update on the marketing services. Our landing page went live on May 17, 2021, and we included a link there for you. But our full website will be launched in July 2021. Something that we're really proud of is we have a button where it will translate to Spanish. So for all of our Spanish visitors or Spanish-speaking visitors, they can click the button and they can see the website in Spanish. So we've been working with the marketing firm to ensure that the translation is correct. And one last update for me, the Economic Development Week took place May 9th, 2021 to May 15, 2021. We shared several social media videos introducing our board, sharing their goals, your vision for the future for Edinburg and economic development. And with that, we also shared other webinars from the U.S. Small Business Administration for the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. I know that was something that the Chamber and the EDC worked closely on establishing a webinar for restaurants in our community. And we also shared the Texas Economic Development Starting a Business in Texas webinar, which is something that we always get a call asking what are the tools that they could reach out to or resources that they could reach out to ensure that they start a business in Edinburg. And then the food truck park, we expanded a couple of the food trucks and we added some vendors. We did take some of your comments in consideration for this past food truck park event, and we're averaging about 300 visitors on every event, so hopefully we can increase that in the near future. That's it for my report. Thank you.
Chair, I've got one other announcement from the director's report. As you know, since you were serving on the steering committee, we have launched our development code update process. We will be having our first stakeholder meeting, one of 4. We're going to be doing this one for the downtown stakeholders on June 9th. You should have received an invitation. I believe Blanca also printed out a hard copy, saved the date. The EDC is going to be a co-host for this downtown stakeholders meeting, along with the city and the Chamber and Society 204, whose venue will be at there, the co-working space. So we're really looking forward to it. If you'd like to come and weigh in, meet some of the downtown property owners and businesses, tell them about what the EDC has been doing, you're more than welcome to attend. We hope to see you there.
Excellent. Anybody have any questions or comments for Blanca or Brian?
Hey, Brian, so it's not only virtual, correct? On the downtown?
On June 9th, no, that's in person.
In person,
It's going to be
okay.
5 o'clock to 7 o'clock in
Got it.
person.
thing on? I have a commitment that evening with the Rio Grande Valley Hispanic Chamber, so I apologize that I can't be there because it sounds like a really great opportunity to hear what people are thinking about the downtown area. So I'm sorry to miss that one, but I will make the others.
Thank you. There will be others. We kind of picture this as a series, and the UDC update process will take the better part of a year. So there definitely will be other opportunities to engage in that conversation for sure.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I'd like to also the record to reflect at 4:05 p.m. Board member Dan Diaz joined the meeting. Good afternoon. Moving on to the regular agenda items, consider the approval of the minutes for board meeting on April 27th, 2021. Has everybody had a chance to review them, or are there any questions or comments on any of them?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
A second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Please raise your right hand.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Moving on to agenda item B, consider the approval of the financial report for April 2021. Do we have Christian who's going to report?
Yes, he's on.
Okay.
Chris?
Or Chris?
Hello, everyone. Good to see you. What we have in front of us is the management report for the period ended April 30, 2021. We're going to be talking about the statement of cash receipts, disbursements and cash balances for the month of April, year-to-date, and against the budget. We're going to talk about the comparative monthly sales tax revenues, the statement of net assets, and the accounts receivable aging summary. The first report is a statement of cash receipts, disbursements, and cash balances. What I want to do this time is talk about April, talk about year-to-date, and the annual budget. For April, we collected $501,873 from the half-cent sales tax. This $501,000 is actually earned in the month of February, so there's a little bit of a 2-month lag there. We collected $8,000 in lease payments, and we collect a little bit of interest. So that interest is dwindling down a little bit as we go along in the future. So total cash receipts, $510,215. Year-to-date, we've got $5.6 million of total collections, and we have a budget of $10 million of revenues. You'll look on the annual budget, we anticipate to collect $6.5 million in half-cent sales tax. And also the other big number is the $4 million worth of transfers from restricted funds. That's after the completion of bond projects. So if there's no expenditures in the bond projects, then we're probably not going to transfer that money over. Now let's talk about the disbursements. Personnel expenses, we didn't spend any money there in April, but we're probably going to spend that money in May. A little bit of money in contracted maintenance services, $320 in equipment leasing. Nothing there in supplies. Programs, we got $4,330 in programs. Properties, $313,000. We spent some money on purchase of property, the McIntyre lots. So if you kind of scroll over to the right, you'll see the year-to-date. Just want to talk about personnel expenses, $250,000 we spent so far for the year. We anticipate the budget called for $385,000. It might be revised next month. Contractual maintenance services, so far we spent $136,000. We anticipate to spend $621,000 for the year. Supplies, $458, very minimal expense, and we have a budget of $120,000. Programs, $87,000 so far we spent. We had anticipated to spend $865,000. Properties, so far we spent $402, and we had budget for $227. I don't think McIntyre was in the picture yet, but that's why we'll probably revise the budget next month. Next page, projects. We didn't spend any money there in projects in April or incentives. Year-to-date, we spent so far $452,000, and we have a budget of $5.7 million there. A lot of that's going to be for the bond projects. And the next category is going to be debt service. We didn't spend any money in debt service. So far, we spent $2.3 million in year-to-date debt service, and we plan to spend $3.2 million there. I think the remainder of that in August is going to be interest. So for April, we have a net increase of cash of $193,000, and we have an ending unrestricted cash balance of $7.39 million. Okay? The supplementary schedule down below is a breakdown of our cash. You'll see that we have two cash accounts, the operating account and the sweep account. The operating account always has a $1 million balance. Whether it goes up or down, it gets swept over to the sweep account. The sweep account has $6.4 million over there. And then the rest is going to be the restricted cash. We have some non-interest-bearing accounts, and then we have some interest-bearing accounts. And if you look at those rates, you'll see that over the months, they're kind of dwindling down, further and further down, almost evaporating on those rates. Overall, unrestricted and restricted cash, we have $19 million in cash. Okay, next page is going to be a comparison chart of our sales tax. You'll see that we have the first column is going to be the fiscal year 2021, which goes from October 2020 to September 2021. Then we're going to compare it to fiscal year 2020 and also fiscal year 2019. You'll see that in the 2021 column, we collected $727,000. Well, this is how what we earned. We earned $727,000 in the month of March of 2020, and trying to think my mind here a little bit here. So yes, so we compare that to last year, $575,000. So we had an excellent month here in the month of March, doing better than last year in COVID. So you'll see those numbers. Very far right, you'll see that we have a 31% increase for the month of March. Now, we haven't collected this money yet. We will in a couple months. All right, so overall, we have a 13% growth when you compare 2021 to 2020. And the year before, we had a 4% growth from 2020 as compared to 2019. Any questions about this chart? About these numbers? Okay, next page is going to be our statement of net assets, or basically our balance sheet. We have total assets of $40 million, $40,852,000. And a lot of that's going to be cash. $20 million, half of that's going to be cash. We have some receivables there, and also the large part of that's going to be the Santana note. And we have an allowance for that as well. The next page is going to be the liabilities. And basically our liabilities is going to be our debt service to the bonds that we have. $26 million in bonds, basically. And we have a net assets of $13.9 million. Next page is going to be our accounts receivable. And that $727,000 I just showed you, we should be collecting that in May, if we haven't done so already. Any questions about the financials?
Christian, I had one question. On the bonds, do you know what the interest rates are on those?
Yeah, if you go back to that supplementary section, the very bottom, the interest rates on the liabilities?
Yeah.
I don't know the exact number, but I can get that for you.
Perfect.
I would be guessing right now. I think it's around, I don't want to take a stat of that right now, but I can get you that information. I can email it to Blanca.
Excellent. Anybody have any questions or comments for Christian?
I'm curious, when do you write off a bad debt? For instance, I see the late fees that are on here for Santana. Do we just continue to accrue those year after year?
I think, yes. Eventually, we're going to continue to, in practice, just invoice them for the interest until, from a legal standpoint, that it's no longer collectible. I think there needs to be needs to be a milestone in front of us, which is right now I think we're like a second lien holder. on that. And so I think there's some steps for us to become a first lien holder. I think some legal, some representation can maybe clarify all that. And I think that's a good discussion for that. But right now we continue the practice of sending them invoices for the interest until there comes to a point where there's some type of legal situation that happens.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Vial, referring back to the page where we have the bar graph monthly sales tax comparison.
Okay.
The month-to-month comparing years 19, 20, 21. So the month of March is the COVID category here, correct? That number reflects sales and monies from January. Is that correct?
No, this particular report is actually this is what we earned in March. The $727,000 was actually what we earned in March. So we're going to collect that in May.
Okay, so those
Which is this
are
month.
actual numbers during the month of March that'll be reflected in May.
Yes, it'll be collected in May if we haven't done so already. So yeah, that $727,000 that was actually earned from March 1 through March 31st.
So at the
That's
height, at the
2021.
beginning of COVID, we were actually, what do you have here, 31% higher?
Yeah, so COVID last year was $574,000. I think kind of COVID hit us like at the end of March, maybe like the third week of March when everything started closing down. And you can kind of compare that to the year before of $589,000.
Correct.
But you can see that we just kind of ballooned there to $727,000 compared to $574, or even the year before $590.
Correct. Okay, that's all I had.
And then the $590 was pre-COVID.
Correct. Thank you.
Just a comment, though, that I think that really does show the growth we're seeing in Edinburg, because if you compare 19, 20, and 21, every year it gets higher and higher. That's a real positive trend.
Yeah, you'll also see that in March of every year we have a pretty good, and then April kind of lags off a little bit in both 19 and 20. And so we'll see what happens in 21.
Anybody else? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the financial report for April 2021.
So moved.
Second that motion.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Christian. I really appreciate it. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Moving on to agenda item C, discussion and possible action regarding real property at 520 Independence Drive.
Yes, we received an offer from First Value Produce and Cold Storage regarding real property 520 Independence Drive, Lot 9 in the North Industrial Park area. They're offering, cash offer is about $177,500, and they're creating and retaining about 80 jobs with a capital investment of $800,000. And this property is between the FedEx and what used to be New Gold Tools. It's a 3.55 acre.
So the price is at market value?
Correct.
And just to clarify on that, these would be 50 jobs relocating from San Juan, and then with a projected growth of 30 on top of that.
Okay.
Brian, they're thinking about relocating from San Juan?
Yes.
Yes.
Any comments?
How long has that been on the market, Blanca?
The 3.55 acres? Go ahead. How long it's been on the market?
It's all of the properties have been marketed in the same amount of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And so have we had much interest on this particular tract?
So if you recall, that we did have a previous offer on this, but then when the old Newco property became available, they moved over there because that was a preferable site for them. Yes, it's kind of a funny little parcel. They've offered appraised value for it. So staff is comfortable with the offer, and I think it's a good project. It'll be a nice synergy with the project next door.
I'm not familiar with the buyer. Could somebody give me a Cliff Notes version of what they do?
So if you scroll down in the packet, First Value Produce, there's a presentation there that goes into a little detail about the company.
They supplement food to food banks in
Yeah,
Texas
yeah. I'm looking at
and
the
nonprofit
stuff in there, but-
organizations.
do you know if they're local? How long have they been in business?
So they're in San Juan now. I don't have the date they were founded, but I can pull that up for you quickly.
and they're moving because they need expansion facilities, or they're just landlocked in San Juan?
They've been 5 years in business. Mark Hanna is on the Zoom, FYI.
Okay.
Is this property sufficiently large for them? Are they talking about any possible expansion later?
Sure. Mark, are you there? Oh.
The property does fit their current needs. What they're focused on right now is building like a 20,000 square foot facility. When it comes to the next phase of growth, we haven't really discussed that because, a 20,000 square foot facility will fit their needs for years to come. So I think it's going to be more than adequate space for them for the next 5 to 10 years.
Excellent. Any more comments or questions?
Well, it's like Brian was stating, truly is an odd shape. And so I think it's a great opportunity for us to, as he noted, create excitement in that area. If somebody wants to deliver a building, 20,000 square foot building on there, it's going to be hard. It's a unique buyer that wants that, and I think we got it.
I agree with you.
Brian,
I think it's a good
the
project.
jobs that they're creating, are they, what level, are they low-paying jobs or average-paying jobs?
These are going to be on the lower end of the scale, as most jobs in that industry are, and they did not request any incentives for the job grants or anything along those lines.
They supply food banks, is that what they do?
Yes, ma'am. And just also on the property, we did contact FedEx, reached out to them, see if they had any expansion, because it's a funny piece of property there, and they didn't have any interest at the time, so that's when we started shopping it around to other potential buyers.
I'm with Raul in that we need to create some type of excitement, get things going, and hopefully it'll create a ripple effect and get these areas stimulated. So, yeah, it's a good thing.
Anyone else? I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Raise your right hand. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So, Omar, that motion was sufficient to just approve it as is?
That's correct,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, excellent. Just making sure. All right, moving on to agenda item D, consider the approval and term waiver for GRH Investments.
Here's a quick background on GRH Investments. They're here also if you have any questions. Their agreement was approved and signed on April 19, 2018 for $100,000. And their first installment was paid out, $50,000, and their second installment was paid out for $25,000. And they're here to request the financial waiver of $25,000. That's their last and final installment. The incentives were for site improvements and filling in tenants. There were a total of 12 spaces, and he needed to fill 6 and then the other 6. So 6 and then the 12. What happened here was he had 3 years to fill all of the 12 tenants up to April 19, 2021. And he signed the last agreement on April 27, 2021, 8 days later. I know that he had reached out to me in August, back when I started, asking for a waiver, but he still has some time to fill the terms from the agreement. And when we visited with him again in April, he said he was signing his last tenant, but he signed it 8 days after the April 19, 2021. And obviously, the year 2021 was a pandemic, and he was having some hardship finding someone to fill the last 2 spots. He found someone, and then he found the last one.
Excellent. Board comments or questions?
Blanca, so as of right now, they're 100% leased? Okay.
Yes. Their last tenant that was leased out was Corn and Flour Tortilla on 4/28/2021.
Okay, thank you.
And they have Metro PC, Boost Mobile, Rapido Title Loan, Carmelita's Restaurant, Freeway Insurance, Farmers Insurance, Paris Bakery, D. Nelson Spa, and Sweetie Aretesimas, and the Corn Flour Tortilla was the last one.
I think that in light of the fact of the hardships that were suffered by really all businesses in this last year, and then the fact that they actually met the requirement of just 8 days late, I would have no problem with agreeing to a waiver.
And I've known Mr. Hernandez for a few years, and he's always had good businesses. He's hired many people in Edinburg, and thank you for doing what you do for Edinburg. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm on the same sentiment. Thank you, sir. And I commend you for persevering even through the pandemic. And I see no reason why not to approve that.
I agree with you as well, and I like that you have several local businesses in there. COVID was very difficult for everyone, and you persevered, and hats off to you, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second that motion.
All those in favor, signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you for joining us today, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item E. I'd like to, Blanca, are we gonna, do we need to entertain a motion to move this?
Yes.
Yeah. Staff is recommending that we move this to executive session, so I'd like to entertain a motion.
I make a motion to move this item to executive session.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Raise your right hand. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving agenda item E to executive session. If there's no other comments, I'll entertain a motion to enter executive.
So moved.
Second that motion.
All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. It is 4:30 p.m. I will be entering executive session.
It's just a second transition.
And I don't know who's in charge of this, but I'm OCD. I was staring at him like 10 minutes early. I was like, what if I can push it? What if I can move it up? It's 6:42 p.m. I will entertain a motion to re-enter open session. Second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Any opposed, same sign. All right, going back into open session. I will entertain a motion regarding regular agenda item E, consider adopting a resolution conveying the property from the EEDC to the city of Edinburg of the Edinburg Original Town Site lots 13 through 19, block 211.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. I will entertain a motion to authorize staff to enter into an agreement regarding La Sienna property.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there any other discussion or any other items anybody likes? No? All right. I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Please raise your hand. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Here, Alex.